This is an orchestrated service, so you could build this across your network as like any other orchestrated feature. So you could enable this, and then you could also enable secure web service configuration, and you could enable the URL classification. You could keep them enabled or disabled, like incremental updates or the query on miss. When there is an unclassified URL comes, what do you want to be treated it as? So these settings are global settings. So once we go to the policy in the match criteria, it is just a couple of options provided in the match criteria screen. So once you click on any one of these tile and you open the match criteria, you could just select the web category, and you could implement that in a couple of ways. Either you could type the full URL, you could separate them using comma or pipe, I forgot, but you could separate them, type multiple URLs. So those URLs will all be matched in that one for that one traffic. And if any one of the URL is a match, then it will apply the policy. Or you could use category-based filtering. So you could choose multiple categories, or you could use web reputation as it's shown here in the box below. So you could block all high-risk web categories in one shot. Another additional layer where you could just select a bunch of categories, and then simply by selecting strict, moderate, or custom, you get those categories selected. And you could build your own custom if you want to build, those categories yourself and then apply to the policy. So as an EdgeConnect, you will have to apply multiple policies if you want to create multiple conditions. It's not an or policy, it's an and, so it means you will build another policy and then you build that policy with different categories in it. So in the flow table, if you click on the details, you will see you already have the DNS, which shows you the specific information about the domain. And if it is a domain, a multi-home domain, or if it is not, it tells you those information. This was already there. And what we have added is few informations on the web category. And then when you block it using a web category, it will identify that there is a deny, which is a policy, and then it identifies what specific category in your policy was there which was denied. So in the flow table, there are 3 new columns that gets added. These are hidden by default, but you can go and enable them. And those are your reputation, and then bad IP reputation, and then the web category information. And if you click on URL reputation internally, it will go and fetch that URL reputation and the details from the Brightcloud website. And then it displays right there on the flow table as a pop-up. Bad IP reputation simply means there's a file that contains all the bad IPs that Brightcloud knows, and they update it very frequently. If you think about the use case where there is inbound port forwarding and there is a source that's coming from a bad IP, then you could filter that out using this feature. So you see on the left-hand side, the application categorization or information, and then you have the DNS cache information present here. And right below that, you have the secure web services specific information. So it tells you what is the web category that is identified and the web reputation score and other details. So here, what it shows is a specific category under which are all the URLs that are seen for that category. It gives you a hit count in the last column. The hit count here is it counts hits both ways. So it's a back and forth traffic. It's not one single user session for all elements of a website considered as a hit. So there could be more than one in both directions. It tells you which URL that was looked at, and then it tells you a list of them. It shows you the top 25, top 50 list of those URLs. And similarly on the denied, in the category, top URLs and the hit counts. In the allowed URL, it just gives you the specific URL and it identifies the category of that URL. Now, who and all visited those URLs? So once you click in, it shows you your top IPs that visited this URL. Top source IPs, it lists the internal source IPs, and then it also lists the hit count. And it shows you what are the top set of URLs that the user visited. The Embellishments that got added into the firewall log are highlighted in the yellow. And the flow drop code is explained here. So it's a hex code, and you can decipher this, what this code means by looking at the definition for each code. This is the newly introduced feature. Only the orchestrators that have the DTD licenses will call the portal. So we have pretty good CLI coverages for this feature. There is show webcc stats that has a lot of counters in it. It gives you a lot of information. And these are the turnbook commands that got added.